So what we do here, instead of using expensive equipment, we're using the equipment from nature. These exercises today, I'm going to show you how anybody can do them, from little kids right up to the mums and dads and the grandmas and the grandpas like me. I'll be introducing work for all the muscle groups, both some stretch work, some flexibility work, and some strength work, which is very, very important for health and making you feel good and making your mind feel good, which is one of the main reasons I do it. I get out here because I get relaxed and I can work better, and the physical activity interacts with the way that I think, and that's very, very important. And mind you, all of our research shows that too at the University of Canberra, with all the research we're doing with the kids in school and the importance of physical education. First one is a good old pull-up, but we're not going to do the pull-up with the feet off the ground. We're going to allow you to adjust your body weight by leaving your feet on the ground, and we simply just do easy pull-ups, but every time I hit the ground I'm giving it a little bit of a boost, so there's not too much stress but just enough to do. Now with these exercises, it's not necessary to do them until you're really hurting. And as I explained then, we can do them according to how you feel, with the amount of weight you put on your feet to give yourself a little bit of a kick up, for example, in this pull-up. Now we're doing a stretch exercise. Now for me personally, I've got a little bit of a back that emanates from my football and cricket days and running days. So I like to have a stretch, and I do this two ways. First of all, I stretch out the hamstrings here. I can feel that pulling here now, and I let my head drop down, and then I bend my legs and stretch the lower back. So I've got two sorts of stretch there, and I hold that for around about 10 to 15 and do that 3 times as a simple stretch. Right, the third exercise is another strength exercise, simple press up, but it's a modification of the press up to make it a bit easier for anybody. You can do these as slowly or as quickly as you like. You get different amounts of work when you do them quickly and slowly, of course, but generally this is the way I would do it. It's nice and easy, using the pectoral or chest muscles, and I do these until I'm just comfortably tired. The next one is over in this little grassy spot, and one of the areas is that we joggers, and certainly my runners that I coach, have to work on is the flexibility of the hip flexors. And the way we do this is we simply kneel down, stretch the hip out, which is my right one at this stage. I'll change over in a minute to show you. And a gentle stretch there, holding for 5, 10 or 15, just moving it backwards and forwards a little bit. It's the way we like to do it. And then just change over, and the other hip. I do these a couple of ways. Standard way, I like to have my fingers on my knees and just do little crunches, and I try to flatten the lumbar part of my spine, just flatten that down so that I know I'm in a good posture while I'm doing this. Then the second part, I usually do a little bit of rotational work, and the rotational work is for the rotators of the ab muscles, and I like to just up and rotate. And the third thing that I do when I'm lying down here in the sit-up and ab position is cross my legs and use the lower abs down here. I can feel them as I lift my legs up, tighten up, and I just do fairly gentle leg raises, which I can feel as working the lower abs. And I find that's a nice mixture to keep posture well under control. So I feel like Freddie Flintstone here, but I use these two, which I just picked up, a number of weeks ago when I started doing the circuit here. I've got circuits at other places as well, and this is just an alternate stretch. I've got a couple of different sets of rock weights here as well. I can make it easier and harder for myself, but the point that I make is it's using the muscles that's important. Now these aren't particularly heavy, so I could do 20 or 30 of these without getting too tired, and that's good. That gives more aerobic work. But if I pick up a couple of heavier rocks, then I'll be doing more strength work, and that's good too. But of course, the mixture of the strength work and the endurance is always going to be the best, because that's in terms of controlling blood glucose levels and prevention of cardiovascular disease, all the things that old people like me have to think about, as well as young people, because this is very, very good for kids as well. Right from the very early ages, we should be thinking about developing what we call physical literacy. And physical literacy in a young child is getting the child to be motivated about physical activity, to enjoy physical activity, and to want to get out and do it for fun, because that's going to see them a physically literate person for their lifetime. The next exercise is a lower body exercise, which is an important one. This is one I really like my runners to do too. It's the one the kangaroos like to watch me, because they can always do it better than me. It's just a simple squat jump where you're getting your toes off the ground, going down to about a right angle, and in a little jump. Now this is a stretch for the calf, and lower down is the tendon at the end of the calf at the ankle, which is the Achilles tendon. So to stretch out the calf, I have a straight back leg. This is straight. Now where I can feel it now is right in the belly of the calf, right there. That's the stretch. But if I now bend the knee like that, then the stretch I feel goes down, and I can feel it there. So it goes from there down to my Achilles, simply by bending the knee. And if I go up again, back into the calf stretch, down again into the Achilles stretch. This is an upright rowing type of exercise, and my barbell looks like this. It's about the right weight for me. I've got 2 or 3 barbells like this that I can choose. This is the one I want to do today because I want to get a bit of good strength work in. Now this exercise is purely with a straight back, maintaining good posture, and there's just straight and lift right down. So I'm using my shoulders again in a slightly different way than what we did before with the alternate arm extensions, and this is a larger movement with a heavier resistance and gives me a little bit more strength work. This branch just seemed to be right for me. For others there'll be other branches. So all I do here is I allow my arms to take the weight. I've got my toes on the ground, which is taking a little bit of a weight, and I can actually lift them off the ground and try to relax the lower abs and the lower back as much as I possibly can to just have that gentle stretch out. And what I do is I do a reverse press up. I get my body out straight, and instead of pushing down, I'm pulling up, but my elbows are going out to the side, not to the front. They're going out to the side, and what this is doing is using the adductor muscles of my upper back to counteract the strength work that I did with the pectoral muscles at the front. In other words, to maintain good posture around the shoulders. Now, to do a little strengthening exercise, and to finish up the circuit, I do a little exercise going up the tree, which is like a skipping exercise, but I'm lifting up my thigh, which works the hip flexor muscles. Okay, well that's the end of the circuit. Took about 5 minutes to do that. We could do it again and again if we like. Some people like to do 1 or 2 or 3 circuits, but for me today, it's a beautiful day. I've had a jog in, I'm going to have a jog back home, and that to me is just the perfect little workout. I'll see you later.